Will Sness coming back at you with a fresh Season 5. We played last week the first episode of Season 5. We played
the worst game.
Speed Racer and his most dangerous adventure.
Yeah.
So this week we're moving on to Season 5, Episode 2, which is total episode number, Josh?
52.
52. We got Radical Rex.
Radical Rex.
So, the cover, I've never played Radical Rex.
I didn't either.
So, the cover of it has a dinosaur that kind of resembles what I would imagine if you made a lamb, kind of like a Land Before Time dinosaur.
Yeah, it looks like Chomper. It looks like
And,
Chomper from Land Before Time. Just a different color.
and it's all 90'd up. He's got a skateboard. Definitely intriguing cover. Nothing like too crazy, but can't say I've ever seen a dinosaur riding a skateboard.
No.
So a little bit of a background on this one, Josh. This is actually a remake. It was released in 1994. Well, I say it was a remake. I guess you would call it a remake, somewhat of a port, rebranding. Okay. There was a Game Boy game, I think in 93. It was called Baby T-Rex, and it was also it was Radical Rex, just a black and white original Game Boy version. So game's a platformer.
Yep.
That's platformer as platformer can get.
Yep.
Last week we had half platformer, half racing. This one's just straight on platformer.
Straight plat.
It was developed by Beam Software and published by Activision. Activision published it in North America. There was a company called Laserbeam that did it in the European regions, and Pico, which did the Evercade ports, which I think I'm not real familiar with the Evercade. I think that's kind of like the new generation style handheld kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not very familiar whatsoever with it. So the development team at Beam Software, they had been around, I believe from what I looked at it, they were doing some programming in the early 80s, like 83, 84. They did a couple of NES games. They kind of started going over to PC and wanted to get into some of the console stuff. For the NES, I'm sure that both of these are probably PAL version games. They had did Aussie Rules Footy and International Cricket.
Oh, God.
And they did release a game that it was, I think, a North American release. It was called Nightshade, which I guess I'd never played it. The general synopsis on it was a superhero game, but kind of not as cake and ice cream. It was more dark. So, which actually influenced Shadowrun on the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
And then they did end up working on some other stuff like Smash TV and True Lies. So, they were around.
So this was made by Activision. So, I mean, Activision's still popular till this day.
Well, they published it, but this was really Beam Software on that part.
Yeah.
Which, they're all working in some facet together now. I know that Beam ended up being owned by Atari. Surprisingly, they ended up, I think it was about 2010 when I seen they finally got absorbed or closed the doors to where they were no longer. They went through a couple of name changes, but essentially they made it well into the 20th, into the 2010s before they had to close up. This game was released on the Evercade, which is, like I say, I believe is more modern. The Super Nintendo, the Genesis, and the Sega CD.
Okay.
So, kind of what you expect the basic release. And I guess you could probably really say it was released on the Game Boy, but it was under Baby T-Rex, and there may have been a little bit of difference. I've never played Baby T-Rex.
No, I haven't either.
So I guess the plot of this one that I can really speak to is it's not got a real strong story, but just like the box says, It says shred prehistoric pavement, I believe, on the box.
Mm-hmm.
Radical Rex. It's very 90s themed. I kind of feel like when I hear Radical Rex, it thinks of the old school Simpsons, maybe in the late 80s or early 90s when it came out, when it was Eat My Shorts Man and stuff like that. But basically, Rex is trying to save his girlfriend, which her name is Rexanne. Well, yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of like it.
I get it.
I don't really know what else to say other than using his wits and skateboard. The villain, which cracks me up because you were talking 90s stuff, and I don't know where you come up. The villain's name is Sethron, like Sethron.
Okay.
And it only cracks me up because of Seth, and I'm like,
yeah, pretty Seth for cat.
I feel like it was kind of lazy on that one. So as we mentioned, the T-Rex, Radical Rex, he has a fire attack and a roar attack, and
he kicks,
and he can swim. I think I fell in one thing of water that killed me, but you can kind of tell the part where you can actually swim.
And he rides a skateboard.
Yes, and that's essentially it. You're going through these levels, trying to get to the end of the level, beat the game, win your girlfriend back. I didn't beat the game personally myself. I did go check out the cutscenes, and they're really at the end, and it was really pretty plain. So I feel like I would have felt incomplete if I was able to beat this game myself. And I don't think this was a game that was, I guess before we really get into it too much, I don't think it was incredibly hard. It is a beatable game. You just got to put the time into it.
You do.
I guess is there... Oh, Lord. We're good rare day episode, and it's got me all thrown off here. So
yep, especially after severe storms.
Yes.
Last night.
And is there anything you want to add about the startup? Anything you thought of the general thought of Radical Rex? I guess at the startup level before we got into playing it.
No, but then I know exactly where I'm going to go with this once we start talking about it. But no, the initial startup wasn't bad. I like the little.
Are we going to go jump into straight into make it?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and jump straight into make it.
Okay.
I enjoyed the little startup music. I guess it wasn't terrible, but I mean we played worse.
Yeah. I will put, and this might be my biggest make it off the bat, is it's about 90s to the bone.
Yeah, it really is.
It does. I got the exact quote here. It literally says shred prehistoric pavement on the box. And that damn rap song starting out, it was something to the sort of, it's Radical Rex. He's my Rex, cool Radical Rex, something like that.
Yeah, straight up, like you said, 90s skater scene.
That felt like geeky white people watched Yo MTV Raps and came up with it. But I did not think that would ever, if you would have played me that, now I didn't know Radical Rex before this, if you would have played me that snippet and said this is a startup of Super Nintendo game, true or false, I would have wrote false on it.
I would have said no.
So yeah, it is 90s as it gets. That dinosaur rap, I kinda enjoyed the music a little bit on it. It wasn't nothing to write home about.
Like I thought, it was very tolerable. Like you didn't really notice it, so you didn't have to mute it. But
I'll put in here too. Hey, before you even get into it, the thoughts of getting to play as a dinosaur is fun. The only other game I can really know that you played as a dinosaur, not counting Yoshi, which I guess you kind of are playing in Mario World, you're sharing that.
Yeah.
But the only one I can really remember in that time frame was the Sega Genesis had some Jurassic Park games where you could actually pick to be the Velociraptor. And that always seemed like a cool aspect. So you're getting to play as a dinosaur is cool. And I thought the sprites of the general... I mean, even down to the Dragonfly, the Rex.
They were all right.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I was down with it,
They were proportioned.
And for just a normal platformer, especially coming off of Speed Racer, having multiple attacks, having your your kick, your
fire,
breathing fire, and I know you could level it up where you were shooting the fireballs, the roar. Was I'm slightly impressed with that.
A lot, the concept of the skateboard.
Yes.
I'll use that term, concept.
Now, I beat it up all the time, and you disagree with it, but that first level right off the bat, while you was on the skateboard, kind of felt a little Sonic-esque.
That was my biggest...
Where you can go around, and I'm like, man, this is kind of like...
It's a knockoff Sonic game.
And I felt like it was a little slower than Sonic.
It is.
And I was okay with that. But, yeah, anytime I felt like him in general wasn't so much Sonic, but every time I was on a skateboard,
it was Sonic themed, yeah. Yep, that's exactly how I felt.
There was some cool... well, I'm going to say, because this will probably get into some... they had a mini game. I didn't think it was that great. If you got so many eggs, you got to basically hit a pogo stick and bounce around and collect more eggs, and I guess that's cool. But
you could backtrack and get some of the power-ups that you couldn't reach before.
Yeah, so it was kind of decent to have the mini game. I did not play mini games of it. I wasn't big into collecting the eggs. It didn't really help me a lot.
No.
What else you got, Josh?
So I like the controls as far as your different abilities. I like the fire, I like the kick, and I like the roar, and I like the fact that you had a meter up there for each one, so you couldn't spam them. You couldn't spam the roar, which was like an all-encompassing screen shake, which would get rid of all the enemies on screen. The fire, like I said, you could either breathe it out or shoot fireballs. And I like how it had a meter as well, where you couldn't, again, spam it. So, I said the enemy sprites weren't that terrible. Some of them were annoying as fuck, but...
Did you ever suck the air out of a fish?
Yeah, I did.
That was weird, wasn't it?
That was very weird. I didn't enjoy that.
I don't know. The weird parts kind of entertained me. The level ideas, the concept of the levels I felt were cool. I mean, you kind of had like the jungle, the volcano, the kind of, I guess,
the
like
underwater world.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like the boneyard, like the Lion King, where it's all the bones. And then my personal favorite, I guess you would call it the stomach and intestines level. That's probably my biggest getting into the intestines, and it really has nothing to do with the game, but it cracks me the fuck up.
Yeah, you're a T-Rex and you got ate by a bigger dinosaur.
I'm just going to go ahead and throw my favorite part out that has nothing to do with the game. It was from the intestines. I had to look up the episode of The Death of Camp Tolerance from the South Park episode.
Oh, yeah.
Where the poor gerbil, Lemmy Winks, had to travel all the way through the booty hole.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what this game reminded me of. Like, at least in that I'm like, oh my God, this can't be real. Yeah, and it was.
I thought that's what you were going to go with.
Yes.
It's been forever
I'm trying to remember that damn song as he was journeying through each. I felt like that was what Radical Rex was doing
Pretty
there.
much.
And it cracked me up.
The only thing is he didn't get the ghost of Animals Past to help him.
Oh. Lemmy Winks.
So stupid.
That's pretty much about all I had for the locket part in this. Josh, is there anything you want to add?
No, that's about it. But break it. It's a Sonic knockoff.
Better version of Sonic?
No, leave my boy Sonic alone.
So you're just saying it's a straight up Sonic knockoff?
Not straight up, but once you do get on the skateboard, yes. And to me, the underwater level felt real Sonic-ish too.
Okay. Now, I have all my shit over here in my break. It's out of order, so I may have to backtrack.
Because in the Sonic level, the underwater Sonic level, there's these little air pockets that forms a bubble. And you get inside of it and you suck out the air there. And in this one, you suck the air out of a fish.
Yeah.
So, but overall, and the same swimming sort of, like the swimming looked very similar to Sonic 3.
Now that you mention that it did kind of like Superman style swimming.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of it too much. I mean, I did see a Sonic comparison on the skateboard, and maybe even when he's not on the skateboard sliding down some of the big hills.
Yeah, whenever he slides, yeah.
I guess if you tell me that he would have had a charged attack or his feet started spinning like a spin wheel, I'd probably 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
One of the big things in here that I'm going to hit it with is not that it's really a prerequisite, but there just wasn't much of a story to it.
No.
Oh, his girlfriend got captured by Seth Ron, which I don't understand who Seth Ron is. I felt like there'd be a little bit more, and it kind of goes on to, like I said, I didn't beat the game, but I kind of spoiled it and went ahead. I wanted to see the credits. I wanted to see that, and there was not much of it. Literally, the freaking Seth Ron turns brown like one of the dinosaurs that you kind of stun, and he spins around and he goes up in the air. This little like orb keeps spinning around, looks like a little firework. Once he disappears, then it comes down and it's got Rexan, and then there's a lizard on a skateboard, and then I think they get on a dual skateboard and skate off, and then that's like the end of the game. And it was just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It was very weak. The story, the ending was pretty weak. Not a big deal as long as it's fun, and it was decently fun, but I just felt like you needed a little bit extra, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like maybe instead of Sethron, you might have had some other dinosaurs, or like a saber-tooth tiger.
You fought one.
Yeah, as the main enemy, though. Like, I guess you could have had the saber-tooth tiger as like the con, or what? I don't know. I felt Sethron was a very weak.
It should have been
final boss.
Yeah, it should have been Steve the Spinosaurus.
Steve the Spinosaurus. Also, the controls could have been sharper.
The movement was bad to me.
I made okay with it, but it was off. But
it was a learning curve.
When you got on the skateboard, it was real bad. The skateboard was just like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah.
You know, it was just go with it. And
go with it and hope you don't fall in lava.
Yeah, I got plenty of deaths in here too. That is another one.
Yep.
I don't really know that I really beat it up too much on that being a break it, because I'm pretty sure that's the way the damn game's designed.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's a way to die, you're probably gonna find it. You know,
especially on the skateboard.
Or the skateboard. God knows how many times I slammed myself into a damn wall and then fall down. And if there was lava there, I was sure to find it.
I learned to avoid the skateboard on a lot of them.
Yeah. Great thought. If I'm playing a 90s game and you got a damn T-Rex on a skateboard, man, put me on a fucking skateboard till you get on the skateboard and you're like, get me, I do not want to get on the skateboard. The skateboard, there is nothing good coming from it.
Hit the R button and use that as a weapon.
Yes, there ain't a whole lot that's going to help me on the skateboard.
Yeah.
The more time that I'm off the skateboard is the more time I'm more likely to survive.
Yeah.
I do have that in here. I forgot. I feel the skateboard is more of a death trap than a help.
It is. It really is.
But
like, you could use a skateboard all the way up until you got past your primary loops, I guess, is what you call them, and then just bail off of it and then run the rest of the way.
It wasn't as noticeable, but I think I may have mentioned to you the other day, especially in the first level, I wasn't even sure what enemies could hurt me. I think the first animal I found that actually hurt me was like a hornet. But like, you had all them damn dragonflies, and I'm over here just blasting these dudes, thinking that they're gonna like boot me or something. No, they didn't have nothing to do. But I still killed them every time an enemy that wouldn't hurt me or a sprite. I thought that was very strange.
I agree.
I'll tell you, this one pissed me off in the first few levels. I remember going through, and I think I found there was like vines dangling, and then there was like a beanstalk. And I think I actually tried to climb up on one of these vines, and I couldn't. I'm like, okay, so there's no vine climbing. And then I got to a spot where there was nowhere else to go, and I seen kind of like a bean, like a more of a stalk than a vine. And I climbed up it, and I was like, okay, so there are things to climb. And then inadvertently, I think maybe in the second level, maybe later in the first, I jumped and hit a vine, and the vine actually was. So I felt like the hit markers to actually land on the vine was wrong. The animation of the vine really pissed me off.
It was fucking terrible.
It was. So you jump on the vine. So you would think the vine would help. The anime, it's used as a swing, so you would typically think, hey, Josh, here's a vine, like George the Jungle style, why don't you go swing? You're probably going to get a run and go. You're probably going to swing across. But no, you catch this vine and very slowly slip all the way down to the bottom. And that, to me, was driving me bonkers.
Yeah, let me control the speed.
And then once you got down there, you could flop around and swing, but then you would also have damn piranhas or fish and shit jumping around trying to kill you. Yeah. We got to go, motherfucker.
You even had the stegosaurus shooting spines at you.
Yeah. And I'm just I dreaded any time there was a vine, because I'm I had to watch this. That animation was bad. That was a big one for me.
That animation was a terrible one. I said the swimming, and this is just me on everything. Every game that puts a swimming stage in there is the worst, no matter what. The only one that I would say done a fairly decent job with a water level is Mega Man, because you have the option to still move fast.
I don't know. I like the water level. Maybe not necessarily in this. I will tell you, I recently beat the game on the Cowabunga collection, but that water level in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on NES, that can suck a wiener right there.
Every shot.
But I don't know. I like the water level.
I don't like water level. I don't like it. It's too slow. It's too floaty.
Hey, without a water level, you might not ever had a cheap.
Nah. Nah, that's true.
The Mario ones weren't too bad.
No, but the water levels in Zelda, the water temples, those are fucking.
You're right.
Those
I could probably. Them are the ones you typically have to use one of them hook shots or whatever.
Or iron boots, or
yeah, you might be on something there. Plus some little spider things that you got fighting there for some reason. I don't know if they creep me out, or not a fan of them either. So I've got two break it things. One of them I got here, and this is my next. This one was obvious to me. The background of the game is kind of dark, where I felt like a little would have went farther. There's a level where it's just the stars, I guess, behind you. It's just a black damn screen. Now, the actual level itself, you can see the jungle and all that. But then when we play a game when we played Fievel Goes West, the background of it was awesome. You know, you seen the train moving. When we played,
you seen people hanging out windows.
Shit. What's the damn fighting game we played? King of Fighters or whatever. You had the shit in the background of
King
it.
of Dragons.
No. It was the fighting. Pull it up here.
Let's see here. You had King of Dragons.
Fatal Fury 2.
Fatal
Fury 2. They had backgrounds. And it's just you could have gave me a little bit in the background, but the backgrounds felt very dark. The games like Fievel, I think that was really noticeable, and it was noticeable in a good way. I felt like these were really noticeable and drab. It felt plain. And that, I think, not that it really affected the gameplay whatsoever.
It felt like they could have done better.
It felt lazy.
Yeah, it felt like they could have done better.
I've got my big one. Is there anything on your heart for this one?
Let's say
we beat up on the controls.
Yeah. The options menu sort of confused me. I don't know if you went into it or not.
I did go into it.
Why was it default 2-player?
I don't know. That was strange.
That irritated. It's not a big break, but it just irritated me. Why?
Did you go to the animation test?
No, I did not. I thought about clicking it, and I didn't, because I was too pissed off. Why the fuck are you default 2 players? I chose 1 player.
So I did, and that before I ever played the game, I went in there and checked the options. I normally do, and most of the time it's pretty basic. I used to actually talk about them, but most of them are pretty bad. I only talk about them when they're really bad. But yeah, it was defaulted to 2 players.
Or there's a difference. And this one here, there was a difference.
So I went to animation test on there because I'm like, why would you need what is an animation test?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
my thought would be animation tests like, can your TV handle the animation?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it could be. I've never seen that. I guess essentially what it was is they put a test out there. So I guess you could just see how damn Radical Rex was. And it was basically a bunch of the animations of him during the game, like,
jumping, doing all the action
and
stuff.
I was like, I don't know, man. I could have probably been. It was weird. It wasn't bad. Felt unnecessary. It's strange. It's kind of like, if you came over here and you said, hey, I'm wearing 2 different socks. Okay, well, congratulations. Well, it helps me focus more. Well, good. That's still weird. No, there's nothing wrong with it. You do whatever you got to do, but that animation test. I didn't forget about it.
Yeah, I didn't go there. I was just the option menu.
You didn't miss much. It was just like, what's this?
Listen, I watching
it and I'm still like, what's this?
So it just irritated me that whenever I went to options, it said default 2 players. I'm like, no.
All right,
your last one.
So I'm just going to talk about the level design. Most of the games like this, you kind of just scrolling from left to right, trying to get as far right as you can to hit an exit.
Yep.
This one had a little bit more. It wanted to put the vertical as well as the horizontal.
Had a little bit more depth to it.
And where I feel like that's fine is like, this is where I'm going to beat up the level design. So, let's just say you're on a platform. You never know when you jump down. Is there death down there? Do I need to do it? When you jump on one of them little platforms that are going to fall, do I need to let it fall and jump or what? And so I felt like I guess, I don't know what you'd call it, maybe the line of vision should have been bigger, whether you shrunk the sprite of Radical Rex and increased the screen. It was just like...
the field of view.
Yeah, it was like you were looking at it in a tunnel. I mean, it was on the full screen, but it was like you really couldn't see nothing other than what you were doing. And that's fine, and I get it when you're on the skateboard, you're moving quick.
Yeah.
But I felt that it was kind of difficult to platform through with that. That was probably my biggest turnoff, is like, oh, well, I get it. This game's going to kill me a lot of different ways, from on the skateboard to off the skateboard to a million things can happen. It's like, well, at least let me see what I'm going up against.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be a bona fide, trying to memorize every course, every level. And I wasn't, that didn't sound fun to me,
See, my thing is I kept it true to old Sonic mentality. Keep going right. If you go up, just jump and go right.
Yeah, so...
Don't ever go down, just keep going right.
So I felt they missed out on that part. But that's all I got to beat it up on, so...
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I can see that, because you don't like the Sonic games.
Yeah, not my favorite. I mean, if I had to play one, I will, but...
I tell you the best
and probably my favorite one is the Pac-In game, and probably the one I was the best at, and probably the only one I beat. I might beat the first one, but probably my favorite Sonic game was whatever the Pac-In was with the Game Gear. Because I didn't have a whole lot of games, and I played the shit out of that one. Which was essentially, I think, a nerfed down version of the first Sonic or second Sonic.
See, my favorite Sonic game was the one for the Dreamcast. Both of them.
Okay.
Those were very fun. Those were your not typical Sonic games, and they were very enjoyable. But they also introduced my favorite character, Shadow. So... But,
well, I remember Tails. That was something. And then Knuckles was
Tails and Knuckles. And then
after Knuckles, that's all I remember. Sonic Spinball came out, and I was done. And there is a strange theory that does, I guess you kind of call it a conspiracy theory, about how Sonic Spinball may have ended Sega. That's a whole different thing. That's like a whole podcast to itself.
I'll have to dive into it then.
Yes. I stumbled upon it one day, and I'm like, I don't know, this is foolishness, and it probably still is. But it was like, it kind of makes sense. I'm not saying no. I like a conspiracy theory, so as long as I can't say no, I like it.
Yeah.
But it kind of made sense. But anyways, that's a different podcast.
Yeah. That we don't make.
So I've got you. So you're done. You don't have anything left on your heart.
No, I'm good.
All right. So I got speed runs. I don't really have any fun facts for it. I was looking at fun facts, and there was a site I found, or a blog, or a podcast, I can't remember, and I think they pretty well, I got reviews, it pretty well summed it up, and it was said, hey, here's a list of 90s games that you never knew, or you forgot was ever made, or 90 games that were easily to forget about, type thing, and I was like, well, the way they kind of said that, I may have played Radical Rex and forgot about it. It's like, it's, I'm going to hit some reviews before we go into the speed run.
That's where I want, like, is one of them, what was it? Game Power? Was that it?
Oh, Entertainment Weekly?
Yeah, Entertainment Weekly. Damn.
So Game Pro's Bonehead that did a lot, he complained that the music becomes repetitive and the player's character's skateboard goes so fast you often miss power up and jumps. Accurate.
Yeah, accurate.
But praised the cutesy and humorous graphics and the simple enjoyability of the gameplay, and summarized the game as about as good as and as endearing as the successful Joe and Mac games. Which this game's been compared to Joe and Mac 100 times, and I feel like that's.
I don't even know what Joe and Mac is.
Essentially, this game.
Okay.
A knockoff. This is like a knockoff of it, really. I feel like he's right. The music can get repetitive. The skateboard is a death trap, and it is kind of cute and charming. But reviewer for Next Generation gave it pretty much shit all over it. He said that he criticized between the cheerful and goofy player character and the murky background graphics, and said though he agreed the gameplay is often reminiscent of Joe and Mac, he called it flat, unmotivating, and not on par with other platform games. You're probably right, it probably isn't. Now, coming off another platform game of Speed Racer,
it was better.
It was a lot better.
It was not day. It was not in fucking
if we want to talk about the best platformers out here, we're talking Super Mario World and
Mega Man.
Yeah. This is don't hold their jockstrap.
No,
but from what we've been playing, this is a step up in the platforming.
Yeah.
So I'm going to defend it.
About to say, as far as what we've been playing, I mean, if you look, both of mine, yours number one is Mega Man X2. And then after that, the next platformer would be Mickey and Minnie, and then Fievel.
So, yes. So Game Pro, this was kind of it kind of tied in the Super Nintendo, but their review on the Genesis version was slightly less colorful graphics and more muffled sound effects than the Super Nintendo. The Sega version was missing the entertaining intro rap, but retains all the essential elements that made the game fun.
Really? Normally it's the other way around.
You would think. They concluded that it would appeal to younger gamers, but it's too easy and cutesy for old gamers. I get that. Sega CD version, they commented that some of the levels and enemies are new, but the graphics and sounds are virtually identical to the SNES and Genesis.
Did at least the Sega CD get the intro rap?
I do not think so. 4 reviewers for Electronic Gaming went on the Sega CD, and they were pretty critical of it, saying the game had nothing but its CD quality soundtrack to justify its presence on the Sega CD. And they basically said the lack of polished gameplay and control sucked, so they really kicked it up. Now, Electronic Gaming Monthly, they had review scores off of Wikipedia that I grabbed there. Electronic Gaming Weekly gave the Super Nintendo a 5 out of 5, 5.5 out of 10, not a 5 out of 5, a 5.5 out of 10. Gave the Sega CD a 5.25 out of 10. Next Generation gave the Super Nintendo a 1 out of 5 stars, and Nintendo Life gave it a 3.4 out of 5. I'd probably lean toward a 5.5 out of 10.
I was about to say, I'm running towards the middle of the road.
This is better than a 1 out of 5 star game. I feel like Nintendo Life, a 3.4 out of 5 might be a little high. Give me like maybe a 3.2.
A 3 even.
Yeah, hover around that 3, and I can agree.
Low 3.
Yes. So it kind of was what you expect it to be. But, there is 3 people who have speed ran this, Josh.
Okay.
Now, I didn't check the Genesis version. It didn't matter.
Yeah, we don't deal with Genesis.
So, the guy that's leading it, he's American. Said it 2 years ago, left a little comment.
Okay.
The second place guy.
Is it a very helpful comment, or is he trash talking?
Maybe a little both.
Okay.
I think he gives you a guide, but lets you know he can be better. Let's put it that way. I think he is challenging somebody.
Okay.
And not me, obviously. So the second place guy's been there for 7 years, so he was literally the only speed runner for 5 years.
Yeah.
And the third place person is
relatively new.
2 years ago they did it. So if you just had to take a wild guess, one guess, what do you think somebody's sped run this is?
I'd say 33 minutes.
Pretty solid guess. You're off a little bit. So I think this is Belgium. It's either Belgium or Germany. The flag. Actually, let me look this up. I gotta find out.
I think Germany's is black, yellow.
Oh, yep, it's Germany.
And then another color.
Yeah. Germany's the colors go horizontal. Belgium's goes
vertical. Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you tell me how to say this name. It is
I gotta write it down.
It's 5 letters.
I always gotta write it down.
CLIQZ.
Clips.
I was thinking clicks. I don't know. So they had it in 25 minutes 46 seconds.
And they were number 3.
They were number 3. Omni Gamer came in at 23 minutes and 51 seconds. Solid name for a first place finisher.
If you're not first, you're last.
Lead Ostrich.
Lead Ostrich, yep. I like it.
So Lead Ostrich did it in 23 minutes and 15 seconds, beating the speed run by, what are we saying, 35, 36 seconds, somewhere in there.
Half a minute.
And so he left a comment in there too. And he said, overall good run. But he said, I made a mistake in the graveyard and it cost me 13 seconds.
Oh.
So he's literally, the way I'm hearing it is I can do this at 13 seconds quicker and get it to 23 minutes and 2 seconds. So I feel like.
But he's not going to.
I think he's waiting. Yeah. I feel like more than likely it's probably like I played this damn game long enough.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing myself any harder unless I have to.
Yeah.
But,
so somebody needs to come out there and knock him off that podium to see if he can do it.
Ostrich is telling you can beat him on this one. But not me personally. But that's kind of impressive that
very impressive.
He's already 30-something seconds above the second place guy.
Almost a full minute.
Yes. I cannot imagine beating this game in 23 minutes. So that's very strange and entertaining. Got price charting, Josh.
Okay.
We got price charting and then ranking.
Yep.
What do you think a
loose card is?
Yeah, there's a discrepancy between when you go loose to complete. Like, I feel like, is it Ron Burgundy? He's like, that escalated quickly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know that there's been like a gap like this. So I'm giving just a little bit of feed. So what do you think a loose copy of this runs?
I'd say about $30.
Okay, I accept that. Price charting has it tracking one sale per week at $27.99. I actually found the listing on eBay where it sold for $27.99 free shipping, and then there was one right behind it that sold for $29.99 free shipping, and they were all right there at it.
I'm getting good at this price charting stuff as much as we do. I can sort of gauge them.
So,
unless it's ridiculously stupid like this part's going to be. So
$30 I felt like is accurate. Now, complete in box, I found one that sold on eBay, and that was it. I didn't find no new one, and it definitely did not sell for what price charting said it was. Somebody may have got a steal on eBay. So,
see, my normal rule is to multiply that by 3 or 4, depending.
Okay. Well,
so that would be either 90 or 120.
The complete in-box one that I seen that sold on eBay sold for $80.
Okay.
That is way less than
price charting. Okay.
So there's a good chance somebody said, hey, let's just throw it up there. There really wasn't no comps to go by. So if you didn't go to price charting and see, I could see somebody underselling this quite a bit. You know?
Yeah.
So what do you think price charting's still on this?
Oh, man. And you said this is where it escalated quickly, Ron Burgundy?
Yeah, I feel like it does.
Okay. So you said 80 on eBay?
Yeah.
I'm going to call it $200.
$199.99.
Okay.
So you're telling me, Price Chart is telling me you can buy a loose copy for $27.99, but a complete copy is $200. Like, I feel like that's a 10 times.
Dude, that.
And you're normally pretty good with the multiplication.
Yeah, with the 3 and the 4, 3 or 4 times.
The eBay one for $80, I would imagine.
Dude, I would have jumped on that.
I would have probably sold mine for $80.
Yeah.
If I didn't look at Price Charting. So what do you think now? That says there's 3 complete sold a year is what Price Charting's tracking. They said there's 1 sale a year for a new one.
Well, see, okay, now here's where I normally multiply it by 3 flat. So that would put it up at 600. But I have a feeling it's not that high. I would say probably around 4. I'm going to double it.
No.
Low or high?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go up. I'm going to say 6.
6 was a better guess.
Okay.
A new one, they have tracking at $640.
Okay.
So what's really strange to me is normally if you're telling me there's a complete game for $200 and a new one for $640, I'm expecting a cartridge to be $50, $60.
Yeah. But you're saying that it's 20, 25?
$27.99. That's what Price Charting has, and I did find that sold on eBay. I sold some at $29. We called it $30.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like $30 to $200 complete seems like quite the jump, and then really, I guess $200 to $640 is not as big a jump.
No, but yeah, I'm with you. That $30 to $200, it's pretty intense.
So at the end of the day, I've got Radical Rex ready to shred prehistoric pavement, a cartridge nice and shiny over here. Where I got $15. Which are you taking?
I'd honestly take the money on this one.
I don't know.
I didn't enjoy it enough to keep it.
I think I might have enjoyed it enough to keep it, but if I had the cover of the box, it's got the dinosaur shredding.
Yeah, if I had the cover had that cover, then I'd probably keep it.
I ain't never seen Radical Rex, from what I recall. I think I would take the cart. I think I would keep the cart myself, just because I don't know. It was strange. It wasn't my favorite game, but.
You got more.
It's quirky.
Yeah.
I feel like the Radical Rex rap is good enough for me. So, okay. So, regardless, Radical Rex is going to be on the Mount Rushmore, Josh. Right now, we both have Speed Racer and his Most Dangerous Adventures. God, that is a horrible name.
That's a terrible name.
We've got to determine, is Speed Racer staying number
No,
one?
absolutely
Or is
not.
he falling to number 2?
Absolutely not.
I agree.
This is number 1.
Radical Rex is number 1 in the shortened season. The thought of having to tell me that Speed Racer is better than this, I would slap the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Speed Racer is really bad. Like, I feel like Speed Racer is definitely the worst game we're going to play this season. That's how I felt about that. I hope to God it is. Radical Rex? I feel like we got Radical Rex last season, it'd be a little bit better. But
yeah.
I'm okay with Radical Rex.
So far, I'm all right with Radical Rex.
I think Radical Rex, where he's going to fall for me, is on a good day, it's just an okay game. If you catch it on the wrong day,
it's a terrible game.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I really know to say about Radical Rex. So, coming up on episode 53, do you have any predictions? So we did Speed Racer, which I guess is it's an animated series.
Yeah.
Radical Rex. I don't even know what the hell you say about it.
It's a platformer. The 90s genre platformer on top of that.
I know where I'm going. We went way too long. We're getting a fucking wrestling game.
Okay.
There's too many games on here for us not to get a wrestling game.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go sports.
Okay, wrestling and sports.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go sports. And even then, and I'll even sum it up a little more. I think it's gonna be a soccer game.
You think we're going back to
I
another
do.
soccer game?
I do. I think we're going back to the soccer game.
My poor heart could barely handle.
Or MLB. Soccer or MLB.
Okay, soccer, MLB. I'm gonna hold you down to that. So,
Those are my two. I don't think it's going to be a high impact sports game.
I think I'm picking wrestling. You're saying sports, soccer, MLB. They're probably going to dang jerk us around. I think I know what it's going to be.
What's that?
The tie-in is going to be because they helped inspire Shadowrun. We're going to get an RPG.
An RPG?
I have a feeling. Now, I'm sticking with wrestling, but there will be the correlation. You know, there just always seem to be one.
I can fuck with a really good RPG.
And I don't know that I've ever played Shadowrun.
Dude, give me Mario and the Quest for the 7 Stars.
Never played that
That's
one
all
either.
I want. I love that game.
All right, well, I guess we're going to draw our game. We're going to see what we have, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.